I personally believe if you support me, and of course I'm happy to debate, and democracy is democracy, but I really think that we should move that resolution that we have no opinion on the proposed funding mechanism because we have not had the opportunity to consult with the communities. And if you wanted to add to that, nor should we consult with our communities. It's their job, and they are consulting at the moment, and they need to do their job. Make your decision, Environment Waikato. It's your decision.
I do have one point to add, sorry, Rick. Obviously without a submission, that's the hardest thing. I mean, without the process going to the community, because using the figures here, it could cost the community, the ratepayers, between $58,000 and $70,000 per year. That's a cost to our ratepayers. The hard thing is that's only just public now, because I've just said it, so that they're not really understanding the cost to them that we would fight for or against. But like you say, we're not in a position to fight for or against. Unfortunately, we're at their beck and call.
And we don't need to be at their beck and call. So I say, it's too hot in the kitchen, and I say stay out of it, because you don't need to go into it. So you don't need to buy a fight that you don't need to buy.
Too right, Your Worship.
Councillor Craig.
Can I just add, and I hope I've got this right, we put in an application, a tender to run this on our own. We couldn't do it on our own, and we were invited to join the Waikato Bay of Plenty bid. There's been no official document about this at all. It was just purely verbal. I've been going down there as part of the working group for the last goodness knows how many days. I went to a public meeting the other day, a very interesting one in Cambridge Town Hall, where there was probably 50% of the oldies there, and I say oldies, that were against it, and then there was all the heavies that spoke for it. I hope I've got this right. I put a submission in as me, not as a councillor.
That's fine.
I'm going down there to speak for me, not as a councillor. Okay, so I'm not going to speak for the council, but I'm going to go there in support of the home of cycling, because I think that ultimately, and I don't have to justify it, I know, but I think ultimately we're going to benefit from this thing. The worst thing that could happen, it could go to Palmerston North, and the most recent development, and the emails flooding to me what's happening up in Cambridge there, is that they are going to get support from Auckland to have it in Waikato, because Auckland don't want it to go to Palmerston North. Does that make sense?
Well, a couple of points you've raised there. Yeah. Firstly, is in your own persona as Keith Craig, you are entitled to put in a submission, speak to the submission. That's fine. And you are doing that as Keith Craig. I've actually heard that there's another councillor in here, I may be wrong, that also put in a submission with an opposite view, and that person's entitled to do that too. You're not representing council. At the moment we're talking what's council's joint viewers on the issue, and I'm saying we shouldn't have one. We don't need to have one. We're not forced to have one, so we don't need to have one. Now look, it's great that if Auckland are coming in to bat, that's great. But it is common knowledge that Hamilton District Council did go into the kitchen and join the fight and voted against it. Now I think it was stupid. They should have just kept out of it. That's what I think. It's an Environment Waikato decision, and I think they should make their own decision.
And the date for this final 9 councillors in Waikato Regional Council is September the 14th. And it's in the balance. It's 3 and 3 and 3 swingers. I keep explaining that. And one of our local person is one of the swingers. So that's how it's going to be decided on September the 14th.
So, just careful how you phrase that, because that person is still in the deliberation stage, and until that person actually casts its vote, it's preempting a process. But look, that's fine. Let's just keep out of the kitchen. That's what I'm asking you. Councillor Kepper.
Just one thing, if the cycle of excellence centre goes ahead, do we have or are we able to submit on the funding proposal later on? Will there be another submission round just on the funding proposal?
The only way it can go ahead, sorry to butt in,
it's got to be done and dusted within the next few weeks, or it's history.
The only way it can go ahead is with $6 million loan from that Waikato Regional Council did it, and it's worked out, if it's evened out amongst all of us ratepayers, $3.12 a year. That's what it amounts to. And then what should happen is that Bay of Plenty should follow us for the extra 4 million. We've got to get 80% of the figure that's required by September the 14th.
Okay, I'll ask again, what do you want to do? I think I've told you what I think, so which was that resolution back here? I faulted it.
2B.
No, I didn't. My apologies.
2B.
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 2B, it was 2B, and that is to have no opinion on the proposed funding mechanism because we have not had the opportunity to consult with our communities. I'm happy to move that myself. Huh?
It's 2A2, isn't it?
Just 2B.
2B.
Bottom of the page, 20/2, 2B. 2A says we support the Waikato Cycle Centre. Well, we don't. We're no neutral. We neither support nor neither.
It's not saying support financially, because personally I support the Cycle Centre of Excellence in general, but I don't support the Waikato proposal. I don't support their funding mechanism, but I am totally for them having the cycle centre.
So therefore you're happy to pay for it?
No, it doesn't say that in here. I'm not willing to put that on the ratepayers. But you're putting it. This doesn't. We fully supported them at the beginning, and I'll still not change that. It's how we support it.
Well, I'm not prepared to say that I support, me personally, the Centre Cycle of Excellence, because then I am speaking on as Mayor in the Council Chamber on behalf of my community that I have not consulted with. So I'm not prepared to do that myself. But how about this? Supports Regional Council process of consultation and has no opinion on the proposed funding mechanism because we have not had the opportunity. So we're still supporting the Regional Council's process of consultation. They have 7,000 submitters to either read or listen to over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Second.
Who went first?
You said it.
Okay, so that's my move. That 2A supports Regional Council process of consultation and has no opinion, as I've read out before. So I will move that, and I accept Councillor Downard's seconder. Anyone will speak against it before I put it to the vote? Speaking against the motion? Councillor Williams.
I support 2B, but I don't support us in principle. I don't support us as a region having no stance on the Cycle Centre of Excellence, because I think we, as a council, I was under the impression that we backed one of our council officers to spend, a number of our council officers to put a great deal of time and investment into having the Cycle Centre of Excellence here in our town. And I think that we are definitely a region that is very interested in pursuing some of the economic benefits and lifestyle benefits of increasing cycling activity in this particular region. And the Cycling Centre of Excellence, without a doubt, is going to enhance that. So the first part I agree with of the motion, but the second part I think needs refining.
Anybody else wish to speak against the motion that's on the floor? Councillor Henderson?
Yeah, I think we should have a more of a position on it, and I think because of the time we've put in of ratepayer money to sending staff involved in it and elected representatives, it's important for one reason. But to me, the key issue is more that what's the degree of benefit? There'll obviously be some benefit, but I just find it unable to quantify what that benefit will be based on the information that's been put before us. But I believe we should have a position on it, and I would suggest that maybe, and speaking against the motion, it may be to say that we have not sufficient information to quantify what that benefit is. But that's what I find personally anyway. So.
Anybody else want to speak against the motion before I put the motion that's on the floor?
Well,
Councillor Craig?
I'll say this, that I support 2A and B. I mean, why am I going down there if I'm not supporting?
Councillor Craig, if you support 2A and 2B, I've just asked for people that are speaking against the motion. 2A and 2B is on the floor.
But it's and. It's got
just the
and
wording,
there.
isn't it?
It's not got or. It's got and there. 2A and 2B. So
That's the motion I moved. Would you like me to read it again?
yeah, 2A. We've moved
2A says supports the Regional Council process of consultation. We're supporting the process that they're in at the moment. And we have no opinion on proposed funding mechanism, the funding mechanism, not whether you build it or not, the funding mechanism, which means our ratepayers get a bill, because we have not had the opportunity to consult with our communities. I asked for people that wanted to speak, because that was moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Downer. I've asked people who wish to speak against the motion and Councillor Henderson spoke against it, or the other way around, Councillor Williams spoke against. Are you speaking against that motion?
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Well, hang on, Councillor Williams, please. Standing orders, we're speaking against the motion.
I'm speaking against it because I believe that we support it fully, because we were invited to go there, and although it wasn't in writing, we verbally said that we were going to go and support them. Because
what part of supports the regional council's process of consultation is not supporting them?
It's not the same wording, in my opinion. It's only supporting their consultation. I'm supporting the we support.
So if you were to go out right now and say, yeah, we want the cycle centre of excellence, that's just throwing all the 7,000 submissions in a rubbish tin. You're preempting the end result, are you?
No, I'm not preempting. I'm just saying that I thought that was the decision that we made when I had these trips down there to support it. I'm just looking at what's going to happen when it gets in the press. For Taupo, how is this going to be viewed in the press? Because
it does not have an opinion. I'm trying to go. I tried 10 minutes ago to take you there, to not buy into the fight, to not go into the kitchen, to support the consultation process. And if you'd have done it, you weren't drawing a line in the sand either way. But you appear to want to draw. But it's three obviously going to be against. You want to speak against the motion too now?
Just a comment, Keith. I'm just a bit confused. You want to put a proposal forward supporting it all away, including the funding that they have on the table proposal.
The only way it's going to come
that's like your opinion, whereas we're trying to say I support the proposal, I support the stadium, the velodrome, but I don't support the way of funding. That's what I'm sort of saying. That's where I feel it should be.
I don't think
no, they're presented to us so far.
Through the chair, I've been trying to say to you, it's not our decision to rate the ratepayer. It's not our decision. It's environment whakaaro. Are we still speaking against the motion?
I think 3 is worth reading, because really the third suggestion here deals
we can go there if this one fails.
It deals with the funding mechanism while still supporting the centre.
This has got a mover and a seconder, and Councillor Williams.
Yes, Your Worship. I just wanted I want to just clarify this. The wording that's proposed is none of the resolutions down here.
I'll read it out to you again. If you go to 2...
But I understand that, but as long as everybody's quite clear that it's not 2A and 2B, it's something...
It's an amended 2A and a complete 2B. The amended 2A reads, supports the Regional Council's process of consultation, which they are in that process at the moment.
And when I spoke against the resolution, it's the amended 2A that I don't agree with. I agree with 2B.
Okay, is anybody else wants to speak against the motion before I put it to the vote? Anybody want to speak for the motion? I've said all that needs to be said, I think, but Councillor Dannett?
I think the key thing is that it is the regional council's decision now. It's out of our hands, so I think that's the key. And they have got 7,000 submissions, so let them do their job.
And once again, I'll say it while webcam's on and the media in the room, this does not say that we do not support the Cycle Centre of Excellence. In actual fact, it probably would be a very good thing for the district, but it's not our decision. It's environment whakaaro, especially how it's funded. So I'll put it to the vote, which is the motion put by myself, seconded by Councillor Downard. All those in favour? Aye. We might need a hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you up or down, Rex?
I'm sorry, I'm just still confused with the way you're trying to word it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 for the motion. Against? 1, 2, 3, 4. The motion is carried. Okay, moving on now